All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahahakodash. Double honors unto the elder high priest that taught my elder apostles. Double honors unto my elder apostles and elder bishops at Great Millstone, or GMS. Peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Atazaria from the Great Millstone, Houston. And I'm going to bring out a scripture right fast. This is the book of Psalms. Let me go to it real fast. And I'm going to get Psalm 73 and verse 5. This is the book of Psalms chapter 73 and verse 5. It says, "They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men." Okay? And we're going to see a clear-cut example, or we're seeing a clear example of that with the sentencing of Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever title he may go by. All right, most people know him by Puff Daddy. Okay, well, Diddy now, anyhow. And this other guy who claimed to be a pastor, okay, a preacher, okay, claimed to be anyway. And his name is Robert Morris. He led a mega church. What is Gateway? I believe that's the name of the church. Gateway Mega Church, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, let me look it up. Gateway Mega Church passed a sentence to 6 months. All right. Robert Morris, the founder and former senior pastor of the Texas-based Gateway Church, was sentenced to 6 months in jail after pleading guilty to sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl in the 1980s. Okay? The abuse began in Oklahoma in 82 when Morris was a traveling evangelist, and the victim, Cindy Clemishire, was 12 years old. The abuse continued for 4 years. Clemishire, who is now 55, came forward publicly with her accusations in June of 24. Morris, 64, pleaded guilty in October to 5 felony counts of lewd, indecent acts with a child. Okay? Sentencing terms. Under a plea agreement, Morris received a 10-year suspended sentence with the first 6 months to be served in jail in Osage County, Oklahoma. He will also be required to register as a sex offender and will be placed on probation in Texas, and I believe it's for 9 years. Okay, Morris was ordered to pay restitution to Clemishire. All right. News reports have placed this amount at $250,000 to $270,000. Okay. Now let me get Sean Combs sentenced to 4 years in prison. Let's see what it comes up. Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, let me do this because I don't want to hear all that shit. Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. He also must pay a $500,000 fine. Okay, look at the difference. Okay, now 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Okay, just getting there. Now that means they got real technical with his case, right? Which I'm sure they did in each of these. Okay, but look at the difference between sentencing. This guy, Robert Morris, got to do 6 months and pay half of what Sean Combs has to pay. Yet Sean Combs got 4 years in prison, hasn't been let out once since he got arrested. And let me put out this disclaimer. By no means am I sitting here pulling for Sean Combs. Okay? Both of these, neither one of these are on my friends list. Okay? Just messing around, but yeah, I don't have no sympathy for either one of these clowns. Okay? Sean Combs didn't do nothing but promote wickedness, and this so-called pastor, which I'm sure is an Edomite, all right, never did any good as well. Okay? But this guy, Robert Morris, as a matter of fact, let me do this. Robert Morris, mega church pastor, was advisor to President Trump. Okay? Robert Morris, a former Trump campaign, okay, and spiritual advisor. You see that? Pleads guilty to child sex abuse. Now, of course, we're all familiar with the whole Epstein scandal, correct? Now, just think about this. If that was Jake being the president and Jake being the pastor, they would probably did a public hanging. I mean, I'm not even being funny. Because Esau would have took it to the limit. He'd have got impeached. The president would have got impeached. And all this stuff would have been tied together. There would have been a RICO. Okay? It'd have been all, they'd have threw the book at him. Okay? They would have threw the book at him. And do you think Robert Morris, this former so-called pastor, do you think his lawyers were as good as the ones that Sean Combs hired? Absolutely not. He ain't got the kind of bread. Okay? Is he, but you see how Esau did it with Puffy, which was all a distraction any damn ways, you know? But I'm just showing through the spirit the difference, the way that Jake get treated, okay, in this so-called justice system, okay, versus how Edom, how Jacob gets treated versus how Esau gets treated. You see? Totally different. Whereas this guy was sexually abusing children and was the advisor, spiritual advisor, you see, to the president's campaign. You can't make this shit up, man. You see? Tied in on a whole nother level, then you got all of these other, the whole list that they refuse to put out. And everybody sees a bunch of BS. Everybody can see straight through the smoke and mirrors for the most part. Okay? Hey, and I say this too before I forget it. Matter of fact, watch this. Check out the comments left on either of these. Matter of fact, let me click on them and then we're going to look at some of the comments. Okay? And before I do, let me call fair use. I'm not making any money off of this. This is for educational purposes only. It's to show the difference in between how our people get treated versus how their people get treated in their system. Okay? So I'm going to click on this Robert Morris one first and show some of the comments, and then we're going to look at some of the comments on the Diddy trial. Okay? Let's click on this one. And I'm going to pause it. I ain't got to play it. Which, yeah, of course, there's always a goddamn commercial because they want you to pay. All right, let me click here. All right. It says 6 months in jail, WTF. Holy crap, Trump's spiritual advisor. Make it stop. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Shocking. People like this have the same profile as Trump. Go figure. Right. People see straight through it. But nonetheless, let's keep going. Wait, matter of fact, let me click on this, see what these 8 replies. He was Trump's spiritual advisor. Yes, you do realize every politician ever has been to Epstein's Island and or done weird things. This is not just a Trump thing. This is what the entire system was built from. I hate when people act like Trump is the only weirdo in politics. Everyone is a weirdo and has done disgusting things behind the scenes, of course. Absolutely. That's why they all stay inside their little cages when it comes to certain issues, because somebody somewhere got a film of them doing lewd things. Believe it or not. Okay, I believe the La Costa Nostra, if I'm not mistaken, our little secret, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's keep going. It says, well then, release the Epstein files and let the chips fall where they may. Prosecute all guilty parties regardless of political affiliation or race. Okay. He was Trump's spiritual advisor. Everyone did not. Biden didn't. Obama, right. Bush guys didn't. Trump and Clinton were the only. Yeah, okay. Release the files then. Okay. Man, look. They all freaks. There's something in Washington called call boys for the politicians. Now the video used to be on YouTube. They probably done took it down by now. But the call boys, CALLBOYS, what was that all about? That's about getting young boys to come freak off with these politicians, man, because that's what they prefer. Okay? And he will only serve 6 months in prison. What a joke. Spiritual guru. And the hits just keep on coming. Okay. Now, we read those comments, right? All right. Let's look at the comments on this one. All right. Let's read these comments from these good loving Edomites. What the fook? Man, this government is corrupt as hell. It's your government. What a joke. Hell no. This animal, he's an animal. And what was he guilty of? Transporting. Okay? Getting them from one place to the other to engage in the act. Okay? He wasn't messing with little children. Okay? And here it is, this guy is a goddamn pastor and a so-called pastor and the spiritual advisor to the sitting president's campaign. You gotta think about that, man. You see? But let's keep reading the comments to show you how much more hatred is shown towards Jake versus Edom. Okay? Hell no, this animal, right? Because that's how they look at us as animals. That's how they've always viewed us. We're nothing more than a pet. You know, when we were enslaved, hardcore bondage, we were just pets and property. Okay, something to play with, something to laugh at, something to keep them entertained. Like the scriptures say, by the rivers of Babylon. They showed that in that movie, 12 Years a Slave. They'd wake them up in the middle of the night and make them play the music, play the fiddle and dance just at any given time, man. You might be trying to rest from a hard day's work or slave labor, okay? And then here come master or the overseer talking about get your ass up. Master want to hear a little ditty, no pun intended, okay? And he's in there sloppy drunk, eyeballing your son, doing whatever. You see? So that's how they look at us, as animals in entertainment. Okay? Give me 1 second. with me 1 second. And that's in Psalms 137. Let me see. Yeah. Um, Let me see it. You know what? Let me start at the top. Psalms 137 and 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Okay. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they carried us away captive, required of us a song. You see? And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Okay? I mean, it's never been no different, man. Okay? So they look at us as animals in entertainment. All right? Let's keep reading. Let's look at a couple of more. Think about what you did before you call him an animal. Okay, Edward Johnson. Okay. That's what he is. So what's what I'm calling him? Okay. How is he an animal? You don't know. He's coming for you when he gets okay. Let's do this. Okay. That's a slap in the face to all the people he destroyed and hurt. Poor children will never get justice. What children? These were all adults. Consenting adults. Okay? Going to these freak offs. And again, I'm not here to defend Sean Combs. Okay? We are simply sitting back calling the game how it go. The spiritual commentators. We analyzing these things and picking the flaws out. Okay? Let's read. What children did he hurt? See? This is not Michael Jackson, my friend. And Michael Jackson didn't do that shit either. Okay? Contrary to popular belief. Because had he done that shit, they'd have probably gave that nigga the life sentence. Okay? He didn't do that shit. Those were all allegations. Those were all false allegations drummed up by the powers that be, which was a distraction. Okay? And with both of these cases, dealing with high profile people in high positions that didn't like a move that Sean made or that Michael made. They were making moves. But see, they were so big and had so much, you know, I guess they forgot or they didn't know they were still under the curses. Because we can't get from under them curses right now. But although they're going to get lifted up, you know. But we under those curses, man. Okay? So, no, Michael Jackson didn't do that either. If you actually look into it. Okay? But that was Jake. A Gadite, as a matter of fact, a so-called Native American Indian. All right? Which most people think he's a so-called black man. No, he's a Gadite. Okay? It says, you are false accusing him. See? It's not the money. No, it's not Diddy. Still real. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Weak sentence. Let's see what this got to say. Right. If it was any of us, life. What us? Just the regular people? I'm just trying to figure out what us you talking about. The literal maximum sentence you or I could have gotten was 20 years. And if they ran consecutively, not concurrently. Okay, most of the times the sentence concurrently generally you prisons. All right, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, the victims have been the ones who were failed and they didn't get justice. Again, far as I know, them people at them parties were all consenting adults. Unlike mega pastor Robert Morris's victim, which, you know, according to this system, are just a little 12-year-old baby. You see? And Where's the people that were supposed to be watching her? Well, they probably did. Not maybe. She's 55 now. Maybe they did. You know, whose care was she under? Okay? Why this guy, and for me to sit here and think that that's the only victim of Robert Morris, I'd have to be an idiot. Because I thought that very serious. He didn't just do that once and then that was it and he moved on. Let's see. Let me read what people report. What victims? Names, please. Wasn't no victims. If so, they never showed up in court. It was hearsay. They chose to step with this guy. That's not a victim, okay? They chose to sleep with this guy. That's not a victim. That's just what I just said. They were all consenting. Freaky and lewd and wicked, nonetheless. But nobody was forced to do anything. But the way Esau do it, just like on Enemy of the State with Will Smith, the first thing they did was ruin his character through the media. Because prior to that, Puff Daddy had a key to the city, to New York City, running marathons and all kind of shit, making the band, you name it. This nigga was all over the goddamn place. Vote or die. I wonder how he feel about vote or die now. That ages well. Okay. Let's get a couple of more. 4 years is a joke. Should have been 11 years to life. Okay. Remember that when you're rich in America, you can get away with anything. No. You can't. Not if you Jake. Okay? Not if you Jake. And no, O.J. Simpson did not kill them. Do the research. Okay? Do the research. And the most time when Jake get off is because they got a small hat for a lawyer. Let that sink in. Okay? Oh, well, OJ. Yes, he did. It wasn't just Johnny Cochran. Do the research. Going on. Blame the jury. 4 years is a joke. And look at all the likes. That bum got off with that. Some justice. So disappointed with this. It's disheartening that money means freedom. Yeah, okay. I mean, come on, man. Anyway, wonder who he paid off. Not really a deterrent for the other sickos out there. Right, and all of the sickos are your politicians. They're your politicians, okay? Whether it be local, state, or federal. We saw that sheriff come into the judge's chamber and dump bullets in him. Matter of fact, let me see, can I find that? Let me look on my other device. Let me see. Judge murdered. I'll just put that in. Yep, I found it. Murdered judge. He didn't get murdered. He got killed. That dude said that he was trying to get his wife to prostitute. This is a judge. Let me pull it up. Murdered judge and sheriff's teen. Oh, no. Not his wife. His teen daughter. Okay. What's the connection? Court T. That's from Court TV. Let me see. Bombshell twist in judge killed in chamber sex trafficking scheme. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna pause it. I'm on my other phone. Let me get a little more detail. Mickey Steins was in active psychosis in the days after he shot and killed his longtime friend and colleague, Judge Kevin Mullins. Okay, in September 2024. This is a judge, man. And they running prostitution out of a jailhouse. Where's the rest of the people that was involved? You see? It says in September 2024, okay, according to new court documents, Stein's lawyer revealed the new information in a brief support his motion to dismiss the murder charge. Prosecutors opposed the motion and want the trial for Stein's moved out of Letcher County. Law and Crimes something goes over the new information about Stein's mental health in this episode of crime. Okay, let me see. Can we find a little more detail? Mickey Steins. Let me look him up. Let me go to Google. Okay. Shit. Mickey Steins. Sean Mickey Steins is the former sheriff of Letcher County, Kentucky, who is charged with the murder of District Judge Kevin Mullins in 2024. The shooting, which occurred in Mullins' chambers, okay, was captured on surveillance videos. Yeah, he went in and introduced him to the elements. All right. The incident, Steins allegedly shot and killed his friend, all right, in the judge's chamber, the judge, all right, at the Letcher County courthouse. The motive for the shooting is not yet clear. Bullshit. Though some reporting suggests a connection to an earlier sex for favors scandal involving a former deputy under Steins' command, Steins is alleged to have had lunch with Mullins earlier that day. From what I had looked, he was trying to get his daughter involved in that shit, man. And the dude was like, man, nah, you can't do that. And let him have it, man. You know? Now I'm wondering, you know, if this thing continues on, what'll be his sentencing? He probably just get out, you know? Oh, he's being held without bond, all right? Sex for favor lawsuit. In 2022, Steins was named in a civil suit alleging he failed to properly train a deputy who was later convicted of having sex with inmates. Steins gave a deposition in the case just 3 days before the shooting. This lawsuit has been considered by some to be a possible contributor to Steins' alleged psychological breakdown. Okay. Let me, so this shit don't start playing. I was trying to see if they had a little more on it. But do the research on it. Anyway, I just want to bring up that tidbit of information. All right. These are your judges. These are your law enforcers. Okay. They sitting here prosecuting people, right? For the same shit they guilty of. This son of a bitch was a judge, man. You see? That's the difference. Okay? Hey, and I'm going to end it right there, man. I believe the point has been made. There's a clear-cut difference between the way that we're handled in Esau's so-called justice or judicial system versus the way they're treated. As the scriptures say, they're not in trouble as other men. Okay? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. All right? And with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next one.